there we go.
Alright, what's up everyone? Today we are ranting about YouTube cubing. I'm joined by Andreas Petsalis.
What's
Um,
up?
yes. Um, yeah, we'll just have a little discussion about this and, it'll be great. So
Yes.
yeah, basically, start off I guess I could just give an overview of, my thoughts on the state of the YouTube cubing community right now. So
Mm-hmm.
I currently see, just a few types of channels that we can, kind of address separately. So we have, the like entertainment based channel that aims for they aim
Mm-hmm.
to provide comedy or some other form of non educational entertainment like as Kit said, Cubehead and Cuban Encoded. Then there's
Yeah.
like what I consider to be the educational channels. There are two subtypes of these, but either way, you have like the like like the solve based education like Jay McNeil, and the
Yeah.
hardware education like J.R. Cuber. Um,
Uh-huh.
I consider that to be the same category though. And
Yeah.
finally, the solve based channel like Max Park or Felix Zemdegs or Leo Borromeo, or like myself, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. And the one I think where the most, I think the one that everyone has the most thoughts on are the entertainment channels.
For sure.
And I think that's what we're mainly going to be focusing on today.
Uh-huh.
So, right now, there are a few main people in this genre. So we have like Cuban Encoded, Cubehead, JPerm does some of these, and as well as
Yeah.
people like DG Cubes and Derpy Cuber who don't upload this sort of thing often, but it is something that they do. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. But overall, also just thinking about we can think about the demographic of the cubing community. It's mainly
Yeah.
like 10 to 13 year olds, and
Well,
entertainment channels are going to try to appeal to that sensibility.
yeah, because that's what the 10 to 13-year-olds want. They're not as interested in learning about cubing as they are in just being entertained.
Right. But I think this is also something, in attempting to achieve this sort of attempting to achieve this sort of appeal, kind of also makes these people, fall short a little bit in terms of the um, making their communities behave well area.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, and I think a few examples of this are Cuban Encoded. I'll talk
Yeah.
about him for a second. Um, he frequently talks about puzzles and events that he has no experience doing.
Mm-hmm.
And while he has every right to talk about them, I'm not saying he shouldn't talk about them overall. He very much, at least to me, passes it off as if they're like, I haven't done them, so they're just kind of stupid, and I won't do it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it creates that mentality with the fan base because, I mean, they're just going to share that opinion no matter what.
right. Yes, these kids at these ages are very, very impressionable, and when when a mentality like this is proliferated, it's kind of, it really does reflect on the community, and I don't know, it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Um,
Hmm.
let's see, yeah,
Yeah.
but
He's not. They don't actively try to make their community more interesting in all of in cubing as a whole. They kind of
right,
keep it just with their point of view instead of trying to broaden them to all the facets of cubing.
yeah. Um, let's see. Oh, I don't have an alert box, but thank you for the follow, Duplex GD, and thank you for the raid, Cube776. Um, but yeah, I definitely agree. There's, yeah, I think there's a lot of strong but uninformed opinions that get shared by a
Hmm.
lot of these people, and it unfortunately does not, transfer over to, he has a very, very large community as well, and
Yeah.
so a lot of people are, being exposed to these sort of thoughts, and yeah, I'm not editing
Hmm.
that, Kit.
Yeah, and for example, if you guys like the whole clock is bad thing, like that's mostly from YouTubers just saying that it's bad and not people
Yeah.
actually trying it and
Yeah.
not liking it.
There is definitely, a case to not like clock. It's
Yeah,
okay to not like something. There's nothing wrong with that on its own.
but
But
the
I
problem
think,
is people who've
yeah,
never tried it who hate on it.
right. These channels, make jokes about clock at, the expense of the event and its solvers. And thank you for the follow, Deadshot. And it makes these kids kind of really believe that they're right based on a joke, that this opinion is correct based on a joke,
Hmm.
and they develop prejudice toward events.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and another facet I'd say of misinformation on these entertainment channels is that they often will talk about things that they don't quite understand
Yeah.
yet.
For sure. And I think
Um,
a good example of this is one of the biggest, some of the big tutorial channels. One that comes to mind is JPerm with advanced 3-blind stuff. Um,
mhm.
yeah, and so to give an example, one thing that he said in his tutorial about floating buffers is that your buffer must be solved in order to float. And this, let's not even examine the upfront falsehood of this,
Mhm.
and just examine the fact that this ignores any nuance that could possibly go into such a thing. And
Yeah.
it really kind of, discredits high level 3-blind solving, among other things. Like, more importantly, it really gives young kids like the impression that, like, oh, 3-blind solving just comes down to doing X, Y, and Z, and
Yeah.
it's one of the most, there's a lot of creativity that goes into solutions,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, it's not as robotic as they
right.
try to make it out to be.
But yes, as has been said in chat, JPerm kills creativity, and I think this is also not only apparent in tutorials where he, might not know quite as much about what he's talking about, but even in his like F2L in 6 minutes tutorial or whatever it was,
Yeah.
that it was very, very formulaic, but it was formulaic but not optimal. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, and I've had experiences with people learning F2L who just could not learn in that way. You need
Mhm.
something more that shows you these are the base cases, these are the ways you can get to it. Like,
But also another thing is they don't encourage like creativity.
yeah,
They never say, "Oh, this is one way you could do it," but
yeah,
you can experiment a bit and try to find another way that might work better for
yeah,
you in some
yeah,
cases.
and it doesn't encourage any, thinking of the solves. And also,
Uh-huh.
Noah's pointing out that he did the same thing with FMC, and I absolutely agree. Um, it was, yeah, with his FMC, he very much, laid it out as like, these are the steps for the FMC method, and kind of, really really trivialized a lot of aspects of the event. And it's
Mhm.
really sad to see how this is, reflecting on how, different people perceive these events.
Yeah, well, actually, I don't do much FMC, and I had watched like some of his FMC videos, and I just couldn't understand what he was talking about
Right.
because he was moving so fast and explaining so little.
Yeah, that's another thing that I think is very, problem with the tutorial scene overall. I think there's some channels that don't do this at all, and I really appreciate them for it. Jay McNeil's a good example. He has no problem making, and it's about, the length of the videos. Jay has no problem making, a 30-minute rant about things if that's how much time he needs to explain things.
Mhm.
But JPerm very much, he over he makes things overly concise at the expense of the content in the videos.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's, a good way to go. It really doesn't help people as much as, just having a longer video. I mean, I get why it's done.
Yeah.
Like, given the demographic of cubing, doing something more quickly will appeal to these people. But it's overall, just not. It's not very good for the health of the community's ability to learn things over time.
But yeah, also another thing is like Jaden McNeil actually has credibility and proof in his results.
Right.
Like, you can look at his, if you're questioning like a tutorial of his, you can just go look at his results. And
right. And even then, if you are questioning a tutorial, he's the kind of person where you can comment something and and he will respond to it. If there's a flaw in your logic, he will show you what that is. And if there isn't, he's the kind of person who's willing to, he knows when someone's found something, better than what he did. And he will just, and he'll probably just make more content on that if you did indeed find something better than what he showed. Like, he's in fact made multiple videos, like, responding to your F2L ideas, where he challenged people to find an F2L case that was optimal but not from home grip. And see, that's the kind of content that challenges everyone's notions of, the best ways to do things in cubing. And he was using this to crowdsource, finding an exception to what's generally considered a good rule. And
yeah,
I think that's a very good sort of content for the community to have. And yes, he justifies things very well as well. There's a lot of theoretical reasons why different things are good, and he's able to lay that out well.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, let's compare to like other people who like, I don't know how to say this, just the entertainment videos don't have that drive to kind of actually teach the people. I think to them it's more about making the content than actually making it good.
Right. And I think this kind of shows also in the types of content that are taking off, with like reacting to whatever and r/cubers, or like reacting to cubing TikToks.
Yeah.
Like, those kind of videos don't really provide much of anything for the community. Like, they're reaction videos. Like, that. This is just known to be bad from like just YouTube in general. Like, people know that reaction videos are the most mindlessly easy but also devoid of content videos that have ever been made. But they're taking off in the cubing community.
Yeah.
And like, I'm really not sure how I feel about that. It's yeah.
Yeah, it's a little scary. I mean, like, especially the Reddit ones, you can literally, it's free, you don't even have to log in, go on r/cubers and read the stuff for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It provides nothing but profit for the uploader.
And the way I've seen it done by certain people, like Cubing Encoded, is they don't even really add to the content. Like, you could add to it by maybe cracking a joke about it, or like explaining something that's in the Reddit, but they just kind of read it out loud and then move on to the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of, just making some very, very quick, comment that really doesn't add anything into it, and then just moving on to the next thing. Yeah. But yeah, it's just an unfortunate thing to see overall. But people were bringing up Tingman's channel in the comments, and I think that's an example of how cubing channels should be done.
Yeah.
It appeals to children, but at the same time, it doesn't, do anything that's like it doesn't do anything that, harmfully affects, the behavior of, people in the community. And also, he's able to combine these two categories of like the education and entertainment channels. like by
And
making a video like unboxing every WCA puzzle and explaining that,
yeah,
like
that's
that's
a great video.
like obviously for a more experienced cuber that might not have any value. Like
Yeah.
I I wouldn't watch it for my own enjoyment, but it's just
But
a objectively a good video. Like
but what I love about that video
um,
is he acknowledges that and says this is more for newer cubers in the community.
right, and that's the kind of thing
And
that like helpfully grows the community because it's the kind of thing that a
uh-huh.
non-cuber can watch and learn something from, as well as using Tingman like because people see YouTubers as role models, using Tingman as a role model, like
Yeah.
that promotes good online behavior. So
Uh-huh. And also like he knows where he's like his weaknesses are. Like he will when he explains something, he usually will say that he knows maybe that's not the best way to do it, and
mhm,
to always check out like how the top queuers say to do it
right,
and stuff like that, instead of just saying what he thinks and just leaving it at that for everyone to assume.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, and yeah, I think these sort of channels are what we should really promote to promote cubing in general. These are the kind of channels that I think are really going to do it, and I think the content
Hmm.
the like channel sellout content, like reacting to cubing TikToks and stuff. I think it should be recognized as maybe not the best thing for the community, and
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And I mean, another thing that like is not well engaged is like when a video is made purely for making a video, which I mean I've been seeing from Cubing Encoded now, especially with the daily uploads.
Hmm.
um, and it's like zero thought through. Like, I know for a fact he made a video about 5 months ago explaining cage method and trying it on 5x5,
Hmm.
and he posted a video about 3 days ago acting like he didn't know what cage method was and seeing if he could solve a 5x5 with it.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's kind
so
of. Ooh.
that's a little shady. Yeah,
I don't think, yeah, I can't support like it's almost lying about things just for the clicks and the engagement.
yeah,
Like
exactly. It's extremely sus.
people want to see like someone learning a new method. That can be interesting content, but like lying just that you don't know this method, like what, why,
Yeah, exactly.
why would you do that? And
Hmm.
Dino brings up a good point about how daily uploads were kind of not a good influence on Cubing Encoded's content. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I definitely agree.
I
It's
agree but disagree.
mm,
Because
how
his
so?
content has always been kind of the same. It's always
Right,
been like reaction stuff. Just maybe he spent a little longer on the videos, but I think the content has stayed the
right.
same.
I definitely agree on that, but I do think also with the daily uploads, that's kind of encouraged him to make even go from just like something like I try out cage method for a day to reacting to cubing TikToks, and I think even though that is it's bad content to worse content, but it's like still a
Uh-huh.
change, I think.
Well,
So
I mean, making 8 videos on Yusheng Du's world record is pretty sus.
agreed. Ugh,
And he did make 8 for the record.
yeah.
Um,
Um, yeah. I haven't seen that video kit, but I will take your word for it.
oh yes, yes, I have seen that.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll see it, but yeah. Um, yeah. Overall, it's kind of
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, that's also he just doesn't bother to explain stuff. Just puts an opinion out there and that's it.
mhm, yeah,
Doesn't explain why, doesn't justify it.
right. What do I think about
Um,
channels like DG and Derpy? Um, I think overall, they're a pretty good influence on the community because
mhm,
they're both, overall, they are committed to, both the education and the entertainment side, but they prioritize the education side first of all, and also they prioritize their lives. they're not going
Uh-huh.
out of their way to do daily uploads.
Yeah.
They're fine with uploading once every 2 months if that means they make good videos. And I think
And
that sets
also,
them apart from channels like Cube Encoded.
a really cool thing was like I was like cubing in like I mean I started in like 2012 or something, and I was cubing in like 2014, 2015 when they kind of started out, and it was really cool to see people like my age who were like learning all these things and putting out tutorials, like really good ones too.
Yeah.
Like I just think they're great channels, and the
Yeah.
fact that they only upload when they know they have something to offer, and they're in a place where they can is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like for example, let's just take DG's most recent upload, which is reading cube scrambles out loud. Like, is it silly and kind of, just not really provide any, like, education value? Of course. But it's just some spontaneously funny thing that's just, like, harmless fun.
Uh-huh.
And, like, even if it's, if there isn't production value, like, it's just, something that he spontaneously, you know, found funny with friends and just recorded it
Yeah.
and just shared it with the community.
And like
that's
even a video that you might think would be low effort, like his top 10 events videos, are actually awesome because he explains exactly why he likes and doesn't like certain events
Mhm.
and goes in detail about like his improvement and stuff in said events.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like he very much justifies, and also on the other end, like we're not going to get into like the
Mhm.
details of how I feel about like cubography and stuff, but like he did like like cubography shots in the background, and while they're not good posts on their own, like to have that in the background of a top 10, that's a pretty
Uh-huh.
alright thing. Like
Yeah. But it was cutting back and forth with some solves. Also, another thing that Dino pointed out in chat that I just remembered now, that yes, Cuban Encoded has admitted, and this is also bad for his audience, he has admitted to only starting his channel to get sponsored.
yeah, and
Um,
yeah, on
and
that
this,
note, I think that also is like like quietly detrimental to his channel as well. Like
for sure.
yeah.
But it's also detrimental to his fan base
Yes.
because now other people will start
Yeah.
channels expecting to get sponsored.
Yeah, exactly.
When that is not at all why you should be making content.
Yeah. And people are talking about how they think CubeMaster is an underrated tutorial channel, and I absolutely agree. Yeah, for sure. He puts some production value into his content, and he explains things well. I think he's someone I definitely support in the tutorial market.
For sure. Yeah, a lot of what I've learned on Squan is from his tutorials.
Yeah, and that's I think the one thing that isn't going for him is that he's kind of a limited range just by doing square one tutorials and like some 3x3 tutorials. But at the same time, like if you could only learn from a single square one channel, like he's the one to do it. Like yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, but who cares really how versatile he is if he has high quality in what he's doing?
Exactly. Like I think he can do really well as just being like an amazing square one channel.
Yeah.
I think
and he fully understands everything he's talking about.
Yes. Like he made a PBL tutorial, like not necessarily but he only did it after learning PBL. As a very that's how tutorials should be done. Unfortunately, we're not seeing it. Like this seems obvious. Like you should know something before teaching people how to do it, right? Unfortunately, people sometimes don't exactly follow that.
Yeah. I mean, actually, there's one channel we wanted to talk about on here that we haven't yet. And that's Cubehead. And I'd like you to start on that one.
Yeah, so overall with Cubehead, I think I first found out about his channel, early this year. And I found some, pretty decent videos on his channel. Pretty good stuff, it was just like pretty standard content, like how I learned OLL in a month, and like I don't
Yeah.
know, and the start of his Road to World Record 2x2 series. My thoughts on that were probably like world records may be a bit high of a bar, but it's like I don't know, just tracking your improvements kind of cool. Like,
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah.
but afterwards, as many of you probably know, he got picked up by the Cubicle as a sponsoree and promoted extremely aggressively.
Uh-huh.
And I think this new audience that he now has of very young cubers has kind of taken its toll on his content, unfortunately. And while
Hmm.
I can't really comment on the intrinsic value of his content because I don't really. I'll just be honest. I don't really watch him anymore. Um,
Hmm.
I do think the this new audience that he has. While it's not a bad thing to have a new audience at all. Um, it's kind of really changed his videos, and it's created videos like I tried the world record scramble, and
Hmm. Yeah.
unfortunately I don't think that has the same value to then like Road to World Record, even if I don't completely agree with like how he's framing Road to World Record. It's like one is better, one is worse.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, one thing I definitely don't like that he does. I mean, his content actually I find is pretty interesting. Usually, most of his videos. The only thing I don't like is he kind of uses his sponsorship as like a status thing in the
Yeah,
community,
a little bit, yeah.
and that just creates a lot of kids who like now need to be sponsored to kind of have
Yeah,
influence when that's really not how it works.
right. And to be clear, that'll always exist. Like there will always be kids who just beg for sponsorships, but
Uh-huh.
um, I think channels that use their sponsorships as clout, or in Cuban Encoded's case, he made videos just to get sponsored, and also vice versa. Like that
Hmm.
will have a negative impact on um, how kids view sponsorships.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and I mean, definitely, if as we can see, the cubicle pushes Cubehead extremely hard
Hmm.
to kind of grow. And I mean, for sure, this wasn't not earned. I mean, his content was very good, even
Hmm.
for the low amount of subscribers he had.
Right.
And you have to give it to him for that one.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, he kind of had to adjust his content to his fan base. I mean, if he just kept the same content, there was a chance that he might not keep growing.
Hmm.
And it is a fact that probably the biggest community of people who watch YouTube is the kids.
Yeah. And then also a point that was brought up earlier was about Cubing World and the entertainment channel area. And I definitely agree that that should be brought back. I do think that's the kind of thing that's an extremely positive influence on the community. Um, like to have, a centralized place where specialists
Hmm.
like that's where someone like Cube Master Sam Fang can shine. Like
Oh, for sure.
he can really shine in that kind of an environment if he just makes the square one tutorials for this channel, and then
Yeah.
that channel gets exposed to his content, and all the square one solvers now go to his channel. It's a win-win for everybody. um,
Yeah. I mean, there an idea would be like a newer version of that
yeah,
would be really cool to have.
yeah, thank you for the follow,
Um,
Preston. Yeah, to make some sort of group channel like Cuban World was in the day is really good. Like I think that's something that we could do, and also like there are videos like how to get faster series on Cuban World. That's the kind of thing that like newer cubers will just eat up, and I think to remake videos like that,
mhm.
but in a modern context where there's 6 years of development have passed in all of these events. That's the kind of
Yeah.
thing that we can redo for the modern day with getting people like Graham Siggins to do a multi-blind video, and like
Hmm.
and like Aiden Bartlett to do a square one video, or like myself to
Yeah.
do big blind. Like
That would be really cool, and it would be a great source of information for people to actually learn.
yeah,
And one thing that actually Kit brought up in chat is Cubehead is the example of why you should not sponsor channels before they've grown a community.
Yeah.
But I'd argue against that because, I mean, I don't have a community right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I've stayed kind of the same in the kind of content I'm making.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I think sponsoring a small channel isn't necessarily a bad thing, but sponsoring and then aggressively promoting might not be the best thing. And I think his stream earlier today kind of, was an example of why aggressively promoting can sort of go wrong. This is his first stream ever, right? But he was averaging around 150 viewers. And that's very overwhelming for someone who's, new to this. Like, a first stream overall is just overwhelming in general, and it's like...
I especially like the way kind of DG and Derpy both came in. They did a few streams first before announcing their Twitch on their main channels, so that they could just kind of get used to it and have some chiller streams before kind of having big numbers.
Yeah, and I didn't do that, but I had experience with YouTube streaming before this. I switched to Twitch in like March of 2016, or no, March of this year. Well, I say 2016. I switched to Twitch in March of 2020, and I just switched over to Twitch because I realized that's where like things can happen. And yes, Dino also brings up that Derpy streamed last year, and yeah, I was there. This did occur, but
yes, but what I'm saying is in the time that he started streaming consistently.
Right, and someone, for sure though. On another note, someone asked, "What do I think of JRCuber?" And so overall, I have a very positive impression of him. While the content, might not be something that I specifically enjoy watching myself when it's just like unboxings, like new cubers will like it, and he doesn't misrepresent anything. He just gives, he just opens up boxes of puzzles and gives honest thoughts on them.
Yeah, but I think until like 2 years ago, I was watching him super consistently, and like his content was awesome.
Yeah, I think there's always something to critiquing a channel, and I think I think if there's anything to say about him, but I don't think you can really avoid that with the kind of vibe he's going for, and I think the chill vibe absolutely more than makes up for it. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and now someone's asking about Lace Solves, and yeah, she's a really good content creator. And Kit brings up that we need good stream environment and also female role models. I think she checks all those boxes. She's not the biggest creator yet, but I think she's someone that with more exposure could be someone that a lot of cubers are drawn to as a creator. So
yeah. Another name I see in chat is Z3 Cubing, and I think his channel serves exactly exactly a good purpose.
Yeah,
that he's able to fulfill.
Yeah, it's maybe like to someone like myself a little bit boring and immature, but like it's not bad content objectively. Specifically my opinion of a channel doesn't dictate like if it's positively or negatively influencing the community, at least in my opinion.
Well, his channel is made to like kind of get non-cubing people into cubing, and I think he has perfect content for that kind of stuff. He explains things super simply, and he has like non-WCA and some WCA stuff. No too complicated tutorials.
Yeah, and then also on the same notes, Cube Solve Hero and Speed Cube Review. Same sort of thing, and Speed Cube Review also has like his FMC content, and I think some of the better FMC videos out there, if anything, like it's like I'd say there's still better FMC videos, but obviously watching more tutorials is the more the merrier. So someone like him making the videos, he's very good, he's very patient, he explains things well, and also he does this, he has his tablet, he draws on it. That's all so good for explaining this kind of thing, and for sure it's great stuff. Yeah, and you said Cube Solve Hero. He's another kind of guy. I don't think either of us will watch him, but he has extremely high quality in his videos. Right.
And he's more on the JR side of type of YouTuber,
Yeah, and
I'd
like,
say.
yeah, and he does also do some slightly immature things to appeal to appeal to kids, but like there's not a problem with it unless it's excessive. And yeah, he's um, yeah, yeah, it's always great in terms of what like children in the community will receive. But yeah, let's see. Speed Review also tries new things. Yeah, I think that's also really good for, exposing the community to just experimentation. I think that's something that's highly overlooked, and it's gotten a bit of a negative stigma from channels like Cubing Encoded, where his whole "I only do N by Ns and will not really try anything else" kind of does that same thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's I think it's even if the things that he's trying are known to be bad, trying things is still good. Like that is a positive thing for the community, I think.
Yeah, and another thing about Cubehead's very rapid growth is that, I mean, I'm going to talk about it, that whole Cubehead versus JPerm thing. That was an example of him not being aware of the influence he had, and that is due to him growing so fast.
Yeah, I think that's one problem with just rocketing up in the community like this.
He fully was not expecting the channels to get full out spanned.
Yeah, I do believe that he had no ill intention. He was essentially just kind of in the mindset, I still have 700 subscribers. Nothing bad will come of this. It's just a
yeah. He thought maybe one or two people would actually go out and do it.
But yeah, but no, it got to the point where Laser Monkey had to ban the phrases Cubehead and JPerm on his Twitch stream, which is not something that they should have to experience. Then let's see, Brody and Cuberhythms is someone said. Brody, I think, makes pretty decent content overall.
Very different YouTubers, not at all in the same category.
But I'll talk about Brody first. I think he makes pretty decent content. Again, more on the tutorial side of things. I think he does that pretty well. He's fast and experienced. He's been a Nats finalist. He's pretty good at OH. He's pretty qualified to make 3x3 tutorials. And I think he gets the balance that JPerm tries for of simplicity, both in the sense of making it so that largest number of cubers can understand, and also compactness. He does that very well. And also, with his other videos, like his entertainment videos, like solving a Rubik's brand in under 8 seconds. Those sort of videos, while they're a bit long and not my cup of tea, like they'll appeal to the kids, and they're not harmful. Like like the most that it does is like just poke fun at the Rubik's brand for being not the best cube, and that's fine. Like everyone knows that. Yeah,
there's nothing harmful about it. Another thing I love about Brody is that he kind of likes to go into the mental side of cubing, which not a lot of other channels explore.
Yeah, actually, on that note, I'm gonna make a little tangent right here. Ishan Agarwal's channel, 713 Dream, I still believe that had potential to be one of the best cubing channels ever. The way he talks about his mental game is so good. I think it was one of the most inspirational things for me in my cubing career. He's overall just one of the cubers that I miss the most from the community. Probably one of my biggest inspirations in cubing overall. I really just miss his content so much. Like I know I'm kind of just simping for Ishan, but holy shit.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
His content was mind blowing. It's so good.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah.
I've not seen it.
But anyway, back to the topic, Cuberhythms.
Oh God. Where do we start?
Yeah. I'm not too up to date on his new content, but I have some things to share.
I'm just gonna say one thing about him is that he just promotes immaturity.
Yeah.
The way he acts on his videos is probably not how he is in person. And it's not a great thing to kind of promote not acting smart and doing kind of dumb things.
Yeah, I think my headphones disconnected, but I think I got the gist of it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm back now, and
All right, you're
yeah,
back. You're back.
yeah,
And another thing is like he's reviewing all these puzzles, but he is pretty not up to date with hardware.
hmm
Like he does not know much about it, and
yeah,
it's very obvious.
yes. But yes. Everyone else is simping for Ishan in chat. I'm glad we all share this sentiment. Ishan,
Dude, I
you're
need
the
to check him
best.
out now.
You're actually the best, Ishan. If you stream cubing on Twitch, I will donate 5,000 bits to you.
Oh God.
I don't know if I can fully make that promise, but this man is actually
Scalpel's a
such a
simp
legend.
2020.
I'm such a simp for Ishan. Yeah. All right. Opinion on cube roll carry cage humany.
I don't know these guys.
Oh, I mean, cube roll. You probably know the channel Cube Roll. He made like the graph, like history of world records in X.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's that guy. But he also has. I really enjoy Carrie's content overall. Like on all of his channels, really. If you don't know, he's a cuber who has a pretty massive channel about AI, and he has like 500,000 subs, and
Yeah.
I think he just really is very grounded and just has a good idea of how to appeal on YouTube in general. And yes, Catch Google Carrie's a cuber. Cube Roll is one of Carrie's channels. And yeah, overall, he's the kind of person who's just a really cool person overall, and I think that reflects in his content. He doesn't try to be someone he's not, and the content he does make, it's just fun for everyone. But
Yeah.
Anyway, going on.
Cubics.
I don't want to spend too long on just reviewing every YouTuber, but we can do this for a little while longer. I don't have a problem with this. We're going a bit long, but that's fine. I think just really putting everything on the table is good with YouTube cubing.
We can get back to talking about like the main point of what's wrong with YouTube cubing if you want.
Let's mainly try to stick to channels who are like active in 2020. So we're not gonna like talk about like cubing time, QB time, or like incredible cubing. But let's see, Kian Mansour. Yeah, I really like his channel. I think he does tutorials extremely well. That being said, Rue is a little bit of, a detriment when it comes to making content because fewer people use it. That being said, I think that makes him more interesting, and that drew me to actually watch his videos when he uploaded them.
For sure, yeah.
So,
one thing I'm going to say that's like a little sad is that like, let's say you're a new cuber right now and you looked up cubing on YouTube. The first, let's see, 1, 2, 3. The first like 3 videos are cubing encoded reaction videos, and then the Why We Cube documentary.
Why We Cube is good, obviously, but like,
yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, and cubing encoded's channel is the first thing to come up.
Ouch.
So that's the impression we give to new cubers right now, to new kids.
Ow. But yeah, anyway, yeah, that's kind of, yeah. But someone's asking about, let's see, other people who are people asking about. So you went over Kian Mansour. Let's say Max Park. Yeah, so overall with the like Fast Boys category, what I think about that is there's nothing really bad because you're not, using, behavior to influence the community. You're just solving quickly. You're just encouraging speed cubing. So overall, there's very little you can do to fuck up just a speed solve channel.
Yeah, and it's not like they're putting any like big opinions out there or talking about like subjects. They're just like showing off really fast solves.
Like what's gonna happen? Oh, Max Park uploaded an 8.3 average. We're gonna cancel him. Like, yeah.
Jesus.
Now people are talking about Chris Olsen, and yeah, he's another example of a great channel. He did many different things, but he didn't do any of them really badly. He didn't really go into the skit like that sort of entertainment, but he did rants and stuff, and I think he's just a knowledgeable and pretty grounded person, and I think that that really makes him shine. He's very genuine, and Really, I just wish him the best with his future endeavors.
For sure.
Yeah, like he's a great filmmaker, and yeah, like if he doesn't enjoy cubing anymore, I think he really made the most with of his influence and his position in the community, and I really appreciate him for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, oh, Noah's mentioning Felix roasting sub TOS kids. Please send a clip. I can't watch it during the rant, but I I want to see it. I want to see it. Um, let's see, what else? Philip. Yeah, he's not really making Cuban related content anymore, but his
He's
big comp
promoting
videos.
cubing.
Yeah, he Monkey League is one of the best things to happen to cubing in a long time. I'll say it
Mhm.
right now. I'll say it again. In fact, Monkey League is one of the best things to happen to cubing
Yeah.
in a long time.
I'm super happy to be actually a part of that, and it just promotes, like, it's awesome to watch. It's fast boys. You can learn a lot because there's pro commentary by Philip and other guests.
Yeah,
Um, and this is turning into a Monkey League ad.
like it's like what the fast cubing channels like Max Park's YouTube channel do, but like even better. It's live content. It's two solvers against one another, which adds
Uh-huh.
a competitive dynamic, and the commentary makes it digestible for people who might not know what's going on in the solves necessarily.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Hmm.
overall, there's just amazing stuff.
Yeah, and the breakdowns are also pretty useful
Yeah.
for just learning more about advanced solves. Like,
Yeah.
I've learned a fair deal about F2L from just
Right.
watching those.
Yeah, and you get to see a large sample size of what these cubers are doing, and not just their best solves, and it's amazing. And Laser Monkey is in chat. Hello. Today, Maddie's
Yeah,
hyped because Felix saw him in the Monkey League and thought his turning was great. Yeah, that's really great stuff to hear. Like, this is having an influence on both sides of the community, both the newer cubers and the people who are even competing in Monkey League. Like, it's such a great thing. But then on the side of content as well, like the big comp videos, um, such good stuff for the community. They always get like massive views, and I think they do such a good job to portray what the big comps are really about. It's more than the solves, even if the solves do matter, and it shows it for real. It's great
yeah,
stuff.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, hmm.
Thank you for the follow, Jimmy.
Do you think we've covered all the bases now?
I think overall, yeah. I guess we could just finish up. So overall,
All right.
yeah. Basically, yeah. I think overall, the big points are just like with YouTube cubing. I do feel like the channels that are coming to the forefront of the channels that are coming to the forefront of YouTube cubing are kind of becoming less, let's say, creative. And
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think YouTube is sort of maybe YouTube cubing is, I don't want to say it's dying, because this is the sort of thing that can always be revived. All it takes is a good content creator blow up, right?
Mhm.
That makes it not dead. But
Yeah.
overall, yeah, I think the content that is being put out by maybe the hottest YouTube cubers of the day aren't using, as Noah was saying, the responsibility to show the depths of cubing. They're not using that very well, and
Yeah.
they're really simplifying things and really trivializing a lot of cubing.
Yeah. And they're falling short in terms of just what they should be, like, teaching people in general
Yeah,
about how to be even, like, online.
yeah. And on the other side of it, with the content creators that I do think are making positive changes, they're not doing as much on YouTube more. It's gone to Twitch. I think these channels have realized that the like, because they genuinely care about their communities, they realize that, streaming on Twitch might be a better venture than just uploading to YouTube once a week, streaming on Twitch, every other day. And,
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's had a very positive impact on the community on Twitch. We've seen things like Monkey League, as well as, just, fun streams from people like DG and Derpy, and also channels like Taslin that are now popping up. He's not on the YouTube scene, but I thought I'd mention him right now for, really...
Yeah, and one thing I really like about him is he genuinely tries to teach people how to be on the internet.
Yeah, he is, he's a newer cuber, and he just tries to make things for newer cubers. He's in their shoes right now. He can do that very effectively.
Yeah.
And also, yes, Felix is streaming regularly as well. That's another thing you get to see.
And what Kit says is fully right.
Yes.
General cubing content is made for Twitch.
Yeah, cubing
yes,
isn't
100%.
as much. Cubing doesn't have news that just happens every other day. It's it's more of let's just all chill together sort of thing, and that's what Twitch is for.
Yeah, it's an all the time thing that you can do.
Yeah, for sure. And just back on topic, overall, yeah. So really, I think what we can do to help fix YouTube content is just as if you're a more experienced cuber, just be conscious of things like what bad and good content are. There are things that are almost objectively bad content, things that are good content, and maybe it might not be the best move to directly call them out on their channels, but to being vocal about an opinion is always good, and I think that's going to be a positive thing. I don't think just
for sure.
I don't think going. If I were to make a diss track on Cubing Encoded, for example, that's not effective because that's just becoming him.
It's not giving any solutions.
Right. So just I think so. Something like this rant where I'm kind of just trying to really break down what different cubers are doing and really sort of streamline it into just one video with all of my thoughts. I think that's going to be a better way to do it. But also, yes, people in chat are bringing up my final point. Cubing World needs to come back.
Yes. I think that is a note.
A centralized tutorial channel. There are many channels who are doing great things, but in very specialized areas. And a channel like Cubing World is where all of these strengths can shine together. We have people like Jaden McNeil, who makes lots of 3x3 content, as well as Cube Master, who makes amazing Square One content. And if you were still cubing, Keon Mansour would be able to do great Rue content. And someone like myself could do, content about all-rounding or big blind or clock or really many different events. And
yes, you could have so many cubers come on who would be glad to help out.
Yeah.
And the awesome thing about a channel like that is it's not like those cubers have to do it constantly. They can make 1 or 2 videos even a year.
Oh yeah. Also, I have to shout what Noah's saying. Jake 3-blind vids on a revived Cubing World. Yes, please. Jake's 3-blind videos are amazing. And,
yes.
But there's so many people who are up and coming in the 3-blind tutorials. And I'll just say 3-blind people because that's what I know, because that's where I'm the best. Like Jake, Elliot, even Gianfranco could make some stuff, or Graham Siggins. There's so many people who can make great stuff in this event, and and for every other event, I am absolutely positive that the case is the same.
Yeah, but the problem I'd say that would arise from that is just, would the cubers be interested in watching something like that? For sure, the older part of the community would be 100% into it, but the younger people,
I absolutely think they would. I think all that needs to happen is a good balance of beginner, intermediate, and advanced concepts. And I think, I think even if younger, less experienced solvers might not be the absolute best at blind solving, they can there's still things that they can benefit from, advanced example solves. And
for sure.
So seeing someone like Jake could if nothing else, just show them that 3 blind isn't formulaic and that it is very much, a creative venture to like get into floating territory.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Sure.
I think that basically sums up everything that I really wanted to say. If you have any other thoughts, feel free to just lay them down.
No, I think it's good to leave it on this note.
All right, yeah, amazing. But anyway, yeah, this has been amazing. I'm glad
Yeah.
that we've been able to have this discussion.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. It's been amazing. This has been a great rant.
Hmm.
And if you're on YouTube, you can catch these rants on twitch.tv/scalpel001.
Yes.
And yeah, I'll see you all later, by the way. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.